Welcome to Sweet Tea Channeling. I'm Debbie Pokornik, and this lovely lady with me is our gifted channeler, Susan Hoskins. Since June of 2023, we have been helping to bring heaven to earth through these weekly Zoom calls where we receive a channeling and then over the next few weeks break it down into bite-sized chunks, playing with it in the stream of consciousness. While doing this, we are striving to envision how that nugget would look in Hoomadhi, the heavenly reality we are creating right here, right now. The intent is to keep these calls short, sweet, and sacred. With that in mind, we have already opened sacred space for us all, but suggest you take a moment to call in your spirit guides so you can easily zero in on the aspects of this message most relevant in your current reality. All right, today's channeled nugget is from the Sweet Tea channeling that aired on November 17th. When you see aspects of yourself or hurts from your past life where you felt the need to behave in a way that would not have you be seen as vulnerable, then you can better understand that piece of yourself and feel more compassion for the actions of another. Now, that's a very deep one.
Mm.
But in a previous episode, we were talking about little Susie, and this really made me think of it.
Made me remember it. Made me remember it. That was just so true of me as a child because I just felt unloved and unaccepted. And so I just put on my armor and I'm laughing because the first time I had a crush on a boy, my way to show my affection was to pound him with ice balls. It's like, what? But I didn't want to be rejected first. I mean, it's just so interesting. So when I'm going to ask spirit that the next time I encounter somebody that's triggering me, I hear the little word, little Susie, maybe you don't
Yes.
want to come out to play.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, using that, I think, to really ask yourself, okay, so if I'm behaving this way now, what would be going on for me that I would feel
Mhm.
vulnerable, that I would feel under attack? And when we're able to um, really connect to how we might be feeling in that situation based on something from our past or a situation that has made us feel vulnerable, then I feel like we can better connect with that person right in that moment.
I'm getting such a fun visual for at least me in that moment. And it's something you said earlier. Little Susie can take on an entirely different meaning than little Susie not coming out to play. Perhaps the next time I'm in a situation like that, I can pause and go, huh, I wonder what's going on with little Johnny. And I wonder how better Susie might be able to play with him. In other
Yes.
words, connecting from that pure heart of a child of, yeah, I recognize you're coming from a heart place, and I certainly have in the past as well. Can we just get together and play? Can we
Mm.
just find a connection?
Absolutely. So our question can become something like, why would I act this way if I was in this situation? And sometimes, most often, it will be little Susie or little
Mhm.
Debbie or whatever, but other times it could be not necessarily something from your own personal past, but you can still connect to that sense of, ooh, I feel that way when I feel like someone is threatening my family.
Mhm.
There was another piece on that in that channeling that really stood out for me that kind of ties in here. When someone comes across as unkind, go inwards and search for what you can see within you as you reflect upon it in order to connect and empathize with where they are vulnerable. So that same idea, just said in another way, and it's interesting. I have to just say this, that as I'm going through and deciding, what quote I want to pull out, there's such a sense of familiarity with them now because we have talked about them, we've played with them, I've read them, you've transcribed them, I've pulled out nuggets, that it is very possible we're doing some of the same nuggets again, or it might seem like we are. But in truth, what I've come to understand is we're just helping it to become more and more part of our reality every time we speak of it, every time we play into it or with it in the stream of consciousness. And so it's actually a very beautiful thing, and you just can't do it too much.
No, you can't, because for me, I always hear something different. I
Hmm.
always experience something different when I talk about it or hear it. So I think when we're guided to share the nugget, I just think it's meant to be. There's something in it for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Ready to join us live on these calls? Send us an email at info.hoomadhi, that's HOOMADHI @gmail.com. We'd love to have you play with us.